Um, but obviously I'm gone all day, so my.
Good morning, Elena.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Good,
Awesome.
I think.
Good. You've been doing your breathing?
Been doing meditation, breathing. I have to say, love that meditation in the mornings.
100%. Good for you.
Yeah. I started doing it a couple of days ago religiously. I've been doing it maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and now I'm just like, I got to do it every morning because God is bringing a lot my way. But it's fantastic. I have to say, right? 5 minutes a day.
Makes a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get started in a minute. Sammy is recording this, so thanks, Sammy. And then moving forward, he'll be recording all the calls and so forth. So
I was just posting in the portal that his last, because I think I've told you before, I love watching the recordings or listening to them just as a podcast to reinforce the message while I'm doing, mindless things.
right.
And it's not working. So whatever he posted, I think he posted private. And we have to have special access to.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'll make sure for this one that Sammy, because it was the first go around, and we will make it, I guess you could make it public versus private. Thaddeus, what is up?
What's going on?
Holy cow, surprise showing of Thaddeus. What's
right,
up?
I got some free time actually in the office, so I could join today.
Good seeing
I'm going to tell your boss.
Say that again?
I'm going to tell your boss on you.
Go for it. Do me a favor.
There you go. So, how have you been, Thaddeus? I know you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been good, man. It's unfortunately, let me close my office door. 1 second.
Okay. All right, we got Anthony hopping on too. We're gonna get started in a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, me and Serge got on the call, or we talked via text anyway. And I mean, I just been busy, just started somewhere new, so just was trying to get acclimated with that, and trying to fit in, and everything else was kind of difficult at the time. Starting to slow down, so now I can kind of re-put my focus back into the Airbnb. So
sweet. So you got that new position, you're all set, you'll have a little more time to focus, it sounds like, on the short term.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, glad you're here. We got some people crushing it that are showing up, so we got to get you going. And again, life happens, so you got to do the things you got to do, and we'll hopefully get you something going this year. Anthony, welcome, Anthony. Haven't seen you on these calls either.
Yeah, I'm like I'm the world's busiest retired guy.
What does that mean?
I'm retired, but I mean, I'm so busy every single day. It's just like ridiculous. We have custody of my grandson, and then I still have 2 teenagers. So the amount of sports activities and different activities is just, it's just got my schedule crazy.
Got it. Well, glad you're here. Have you had a chance to hop on and watch any of the videos?
Yes, I think I knocked it out in one night. I watched almost all of them. So.
Oh, sweet. Oh my goodness. Now we're back to space here.
Yeah,
so
we're back to space.
That's your funky background. Love it.
I'm trying to figure it out so that you can actually see me, but I've been pretty stagnant as far as like, getting into the Airbnb arbitrage, as far as actually making some real moves. I just got excuses, I just keep baby steps moving forward, and analysis paralysis, stuff like that.
It just,
because I was What I was thinking was, I mean, after I went to Jerry's open house thing, which I really, really liked, and I started thinking about the initial investment, and it just like I think I overthunk it. So I'm just here to absorb some of the information here to keep moving forward instead of just getting stuck. Like, I'm thinking like my initial everything out of pocket, like when you arbitrage and this and that, and then it's like $10,000. Like, can I recoup that? Like, how long does it take me to recoup it? I just been thinking about it too much. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, you're dipping your feet in the water, bro, and hopefully no one can conquer that fear except for you. So like if the opportunity is there for sure. That one that you came to, we have a 3-day booking for like $1,000 down there by Glendale. So it recoups pretty quickly if you find the right deal and you know what you're doing. So but glad you're here today. So we're just going to kind of go around. Let's start with Sergio. I know Sergio, you're close to getting that first deal. What's going on with you?
Yeah, so the guy that was potentially gonna do the arbitrage in Glendale, he had like 3 people, I guess, take a look at the house, and then they went back because they were interested. So he had multiple people that were looking besides me, and so I guess he went with the other guy. So honestly, it's okay though, because that was a little bit further than I wanted, and I did pull a list of like expired, canceled listings, and I'm actually supposed to follow up with a guy tomorrow, with a house literally like a mile down the street from the stadium. So I just look at it like when one door closes, another one opens. So there's not really much to get down about. It's just keep plugging away. We've got a few.
It's just doing the reps, like we talk about, bro. And so, like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we want to have 4 options available. Like we mentioned, just pick the best one. So, it's good you're getting those reps in there. That one was kind of out of the price range too, wasn't it?
It kind of was. I mean, it was like at 3,300, and this one, potentially the next one's going to be in the 2,000 something. So, and it was a big house too. So, who knows how much it was going to be to furnish it. So, it is what it is. I pulled a pretty big list of the expired listings, because a lot of those I talked to a lot of people that on that list, and they're much more open to talking to you, as opposed to like pulling a pre-foreclosure list and trying to get them to like trying to talk some sense into those people. I mean, I still call the Zillows as well for rent. So I've got a few. I think I said I've got a few opportunities. One in Mesa, one down the street from my house again, because I talked to that guy, and some guy that he's had a rental down the street from my house for like 4 months, and I just finally talked to him and said, hey, would you rather partner with me on this deal, and I could furnish it, and then and we kind of split the cost, so split the expenses, and then we'll split the profits. And he's actually considering that, so we'll see what happens.
Got to get creative, but when's our target date again?
14th.
Oh, okay. We got the pressures on. So when you guys work one-on-one with me, we always set target dates. So you're at the 14th. I think Sammy's at the 21st before you guys get your first one. So we got 10 days, brother.
Yeah, we'll make it work. I've got some options, so we'll figure it out.
You're doing it, and congrats. Now that your wife made the move, you said she's gonna help on calls and all that. So that's awesome.
Hey, Serge,
Yeah.
what kind of list you said you're pulling?
So I've got my cousin is a realtor, and he's basically going on the MLS, and we're pulling expired listings and canceled listings. So anything that expired from like maybe July 31st, because potentially those houses, with the market being the way it is, you know, houses were on the market for 3-4 months and they didn't sell, and everybody's expectations, sellers are like, hey, can I still get 30 to 40 grand over? Like, no, that ship sailed.
You
So
said expired listings. What was the last one?
canceled.
Canceled.
Yeah.
Are you a realtor, Thaddeus?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I know
Hopefully,
a couple.
good. Yeah, there's a lot of realtors. We could talk on the best ones, but yeah, just make sure they do understand, you know, what we're trying to achieve. And I always ask them, do you guys have investments yourself? You know, to see if they have that mindset. But yeah, that's good. You got some realtors that you can network with.
I could get you a lift too, Thaddeus. Reach out to me. Just let me know a city, and then I'll plug you in.
That's what's up, bud.
Thanks. Thank you, Sergio.
Yeah,
Elena, how was your quest coming?
So I have been out with the real estate agent for a couple of days now.
Oh, wow, look at you. You said you were going to do that when I saw you this weekend. Good for you.
Yeah. And we set borders on, like, boundaries on streets, narrow down to the neighborhood, because for the first day, my price range is 400 for a 3-2 with a garage. That's close to a hospital. I really want to try the travel nurse, or close to a center, a travel nurse or corporate travelers. And I have to say that, keep that down, please. I have to say that it was quite depressing.
Okay.
There's basically nothing in the East Valley under 400 that's a single residential home. So I walked into a lot of just terrible, awful looking listings, but decided to just hone in on a couple of neighborhoods where I knew I would like the listings there. So now I'm just kind of focusing in. One thing that I do have a question about, that I have noticed in my analysis, a lot of listings by Redfin and Open Door. And a lot of them are investor homes, obviously, that have been vacant for a while, were purchased 2 or 3 months ago and are listed $70,000-$80,000 more, looking for investments. And I would say, I'm not exaggerating, probably 80% of the listings, and we saw 25 homes in the past 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, I mean, when you walk in there, you either know it, or you know, 15-minute showing. I have to say, back to back, 20 out of the 25 were Open Door or Redfin, overpriced. So it seems like something's happening in the market with these homes.
That's why the market's not dropping as fast as it probably should. Because you got all those guys holding on to those houses, all these hedge funds and investors holding on to houses.
Well, they're going to go bankrupt in a couple of months if that's how it. I mean, I'm just thinking long term, right? It's like back in the day when you hear all these tricks that Zillow did something very similar, right? They bought all these homes, and they're just sitting on them and inflating the market. So what is going to happen for someone that's out there buying? Just because Redfin down the street is listed for 420, you think you're going to get 420, but your house is really worth 380 at that point in time at the most. So I just am a little unsettled. I didn't.
What's the big picture question, though? I guess I didn't hear a question in there.
What do you think is what?
I think it's great. I think it's an amazing opportunity. So you have to think that too, because Open Door, again, they put out a shitty product. So they've always put out garbage, and they've always overpriced it. So they could sell that when everyone was buying, but they're not going to be able to do that. So they're going to start dropping their prices. So I mean, eventually, you can make them offers. They have a lot of property that they're, you know, losing money daily if they're not going to get their numbers. So eventually they're going to have to take an offer.
Yeah, and I'm finding just in my own neighborhood, because I have several as well. in my own neighborhood that I've been keeping an eye on, and they've been having those sitting there now for like 2 months, which is crazy compared to where it was
100%.
a couple months ago, right? So like like Flip said, they're sitting on these houses, and at some point, they're gonna have to look at their bottom line and be like, hey, we're gonna have to start slicing and cutting, tremendously. And then as soon as they do, then then everyone else will kind of get real as well. So it's just
Yeah, and I feel like you still could get mom and pops that need to sell their home in the neighborhood where they're like, we need the money, so hey, Elena, we'll take your offer. And so there's a lot of houses available, Elena. And again, I feel like you have to figure out, like, because the ones you're looking at for that price point, they probably need work. And I don't think you really, do you want to do renovation to the property?
No.
Okay, I don't know, you may have to increase your price point or go to a different area.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. I've increased it by 25 grand. So I'm going up to the
Okay.
4.5s and seeing what that's going to offer me.
Gotcha. I mean, what about like Lagos right down the road from us? What are those prices at?
Extremely high. And
Are they?
high 4s, low 5s. And mortgage rates right now, you're not going to get anything lower than 7. So
Right.
that's another thing that's deterring me when I sit down. I call it analysis paralysis, sure, but at the end of the day, you have to make a smart investment and do the analysis, right?
I know, but we already talked about the long term. I think you agreed, didn't you? It's a 30
I know, but at this point, at 7% mortgage rate, buying a home for $500,000 is going to be very tricky. You're going to have to live month to month to cover it with even a midterm or short-term rental.
So what's the payment that you calculated at, say 425 at like 7%?
No less than $2,500 to $2,600 a month, and that's a floating rate.
Yeah.
But then you have home insurance, property tax, all of that good stuff, utilities. You're gonna have to at least make $4,000 to $5,000 a month to say, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah. And again, it just depends your entry level and your risk tolerance, because like you could get a townhouse near the airport for like 200, 250, but that's not what you want to do. It doesn't sound like you want the 400 to 500. You kind of want a home. You want the single family home. So
yeah, I might have to change my strategy. Let's see what happens next Tuesday.
Yeah, I just don't want you to spend all your time out there. And it's good though to get a pulse on the community and know what's going on though. So I don't think it's a waste of time. I think it's good that you're out there, seeing what's available. So see how that goes. Let's see. So I do like the nurse, the midterm stuff by the hospitals, because there is a shortage. I don't think Dr. Paul is on today, but he was going to ask. He works at Valleywise. He's a surgeon, so he was going to ask some of the traveling nurses and just figure out how they, get all hooked up with their housing program and stuff. So we'll have to ask him next time he's on the call. But again, I think the traveling, Sergio is going to do that. I have some spots down by the hospital, which we're talking to HR and just letting them know. Because you got to think outside just Airbnb, because I could tell you the platform definitely has changed from this time of last year to now, as far as experiences and just what they're kind of pushing out. So we are joining some other platforms to get the properties out. Anthony, do you have any questions? I know you were down there at Glendale, and it's a great business, but again, I know getting into something new, there's always unknown and fear. But do you have any questions on anything so far?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any questions. But I will tell Elena this. I don't know what her area is. I know she said she wanted to be close to a hospital. But so I just jumped on realtor.com real quick. And this house at 7784 Palomera Avenue, it's right in the zone for the stadium, and it's actually pretty nice. They put a little bit of money into it, and they just decreased it 40 grand.
Damn. What's the price, asking price?
If you look at the living room has been remodeled, so it looks like it's Airbnb ready. Let's see. I just looked at it. Let me see. They're asking 345.
Okay, so again, Elena's out here by me in the East Valley, so you know, what are your thoughts on some West Valley stuff, Elena?
I'm not comfortable with it because I run a huge business in the East Valley and I'm just trying to enter this as a part-time thing. And
You're
there's
right.
no way it's not practical for me. And I'm a perfectionist. So my first one, I want to be able to baby it. And I just don't feel like I can invest the time and travel just in case. I like the proximity, but I do have to say for you West Valley people, you have so many more opportunities in that price range. And unfortunately, I just feel like the East Valley is just completely overpriced right now. Tempe,
100%.
Mesa,
Yeah.
Gilbert, Chandler, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so I agree 100%, Elena. Stay close to home for your first one, or JV with someone down the road. But yeah, Scottsdale or Chandler. I don't Mesa because a lot of times I was able to get a lot lower prices in Mesa versus Gilbert on products.
I did go through a very shady parts of Mesa yesterday that I felt like it's like rape me alley. I would not feel comfortable getting out of my car in some of those neighborhoods. I guess I'm a princess, but I'm just like, no,
I hear
I'm
you.
not.
So Mesa is very pocket specific. So you really have to know like pockets down there. And you could tell when you drive or, you know, research the area where there's more crime than other areas. So
Yeah, I'm an elitist. As soon as I see trailer home parks and mobile homes on stilts, I'm just like, no, thanks. I'll
gotcha.
pass. I'd rather absorb another $400 on my monthly payment than have to deal with that. So I'm very picky that way.
Gotcha. Let's talk about other ways of getting the word out that you guys are looking for Airbnbs. Is there any other things, Sergio, that you're doing as far as getting the word out? He's on mute. Can you hear me, Sergio? Looks like he's still on mute. How about you, Thaddeus?
We kind of have a bad connection.
Oh, sorry. So,
my name, but kind of got out.
You're kind of fuzzy. Yeah. What were some of the other things you're doing, Sergio?
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard something. I heard my name, but yeah. I didn't hear the question because you kind of cut out.
Oh, excellent. So I just asked you, what are some other ways of, like, you know, we're calling realtors, we're talking to realtors. What are ways that you outside the box thinking at looking at different deals and letting people know?
MLS, but the problem with MLS on the market is they're asking higher than the interest rates already. So let's say they have a house and the interest rates they're asking are just ridiculous. So I tend to stay away from that. I'm generally right now, my wife and I have pulled a list for canceled and expired, and we're going to hit that hard this week. So,
that's right, Elena. So that's something that maybe other people aren't looking at, and there might be some opportunity there if your realtors know how to pull those lists. So, Thaddeus, are you looking right now, or when's your game plan to start like really diving deep into, you know, finding a short-term property?
Over the past month, I haven't really been active, and that's, you know, kind of where I'm at. And I hate to even say that because that's one of my primary goals is to get this done so I can get out of this office. But I actually, we actually need to sit down and do a one-on-one if that's okay. That way I can
Love
set
to.
time frames and actually put a little bit more pressure on in the getting these things done. You know, I can map out some time, especially now that I'm getting a little bit more acquainted with everything. So
Yeah, I mean, let's hop on a call this week. You know, we could text after this, figure out a time that works. And, you know, the folks I've been working with one-on-one, they're all getting their Airbnb deals. So, you know, Frankie, Sergio's on it. So yeah, I'd love to sit down and we could kind of map out a game plan.
absolutely, yeah. Whenever we can do that. I mean, after we get off the call, like you said, we can text and figure out some time. That way, you know, instead of just me saying I'm gonna do it, you know, I'll have you on my back as well. That'll help.
Well, it's just 100%. It's accountability because
Right,
again,
right.
30 days, you're like, where did this 30 days just go?
Right.
I know it flew by. So, man, and this year is gonna go quick too. So we got to really like, we do a lot of time blocking, bro, because again, a lot of distractions. I'm sure, you know,
Absolutely.
as a husband, parent.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is I know a lot of this stuff, man. And if I don't, like you said, if you don't put the time and schedule the time, then you're gonna find something else to take up your time, basically. So
Yeah,
I get it. I get it. I just have to you know, put it in the play.
sweet. That sounds like a good game plan. Also, guys, we're gonna have a. Oh, I know you can't make it, Elaine. I already mentioned this. We're gonna have a meetup at one of my Airbnbs in Mesa, and that's gonna be Thursday, October 13th. So if you guys can make it, it's gonna be like from 5 to 8. But I'll send that over to you, and you know we're gonna break down the numbers. We're gonna have like a couple other people hosting it with me, so it's more of a networking. But if hopefully the weather will cool off and we could hang out and be in that backyard, I could show you the backyard. So just throw it out there. I know Sammy just locked in a new job too, so he's on the call, but he's doing some training. Luckily, he gets to work from home, which is pretty nice. So he's got a goal of October 21st. He's out there by you. He's in the West Valley, Thaddeus, and you know Sergio's out in the East Valley. Anthony's out in the West Valley. So we got kind of a mix of people here. I think we're going to start getting more out-of-state people. We just haven't really spent time focused on that. And all it's been kind of word of mouth, but we get busy over here too, so need more time to target niche market. But it's great. We got everyone that's supposed to be here is here, and you know I'm excited that helping you guys get started because it is a good business model, and we're just looking forward to other folks getting some. And I'm trying to think who has their next one. Yeah, Frankie's going to launch, I think, next week, but he's got his pumpkin patch business, so that's been taking a big part of his time with Halloween coming up. He does Halloween Town. Let's see, Elena, any other questions? I know it's
I actually do. I always have questions.
Awesome.
AirDNA, who's used it before, and did you like it?
Let's see, Thaddeus and Anthony and Sammy, none of those guys have it. So I've used it a little bit. I do like it. It's kind of low on pricing though, I felt. So I kind of, shift up my prices from time to time and don't really rely on that. I just kind of look at it and get a gauge and, figure out why mine isn't booking and just play around with the pricing. And, like I said, we're going to start different platforms here coming up soon. So that'll.
What's the purpose of AirDNA?
Twofold. Number one, it's a great comping mechanism. So when you're looking, for example, in a neighborhood by you that you really like, you can see what properties are getting per night. You can see the occupancy rate. So it's a comping system for wants your host too, how to price out the properties.
So you're saying it's sort of, it's on the lower end of the spectrum.
I
So
felt it was
whatever
on the-
Erdene-
I felt it was a little on the lower end, locally here, maybe nationally it may not be, but yeah, but it's a good gauge. I would highly recommend it in the beginning. Dr. Paul is here. What's up, Dr.
Hey,
Paul?
good to see you, Flip.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Doing good, sir. Sorry, I was actually in a different meeting here in the hospital.
Okay. I guess saving lives is or surgery. Well, it's surgeries today.
No, I'm actually in clinic, but I have
Are
to
you?
meet with our trainees for their research and stuff.
Awesome, awesome. Well, glad you were able to join us for a little bit here. Did you get time to chat with some of those nurses and find out
Yes.
more about traveling nurses?
Yes. So first things first, because just to get everyone up to speed, we were talking last week about using Airbnbs for travel nurses. And Flip was going around hospitals and asking HR. So I talked to him and says, like, let me actually ask the people who are looking for the houses to find out who's taking care of them and how they're finding it. So the biggest thing is here in Arizona, hospitals are not involved.
Ah,
So I would save you your time and your money by
excellent.
walking to the hospital. Number two, they said identify your market. And when we talk about market, you're looking at hospitals who are recruiting nurses, because not all hospitals are recruiting travel nurses. So if you identify this demographics and based on the travel nurse who I talked to, it's going to be Phoenix and the East Valley. Mesa, that's going to be your demographic. They says like there's barely any work in West Valley. So it's not
Okay.
going to be a good target there. If you have an Airbnb there to target travel nurses. And then lastly, with regards to housing, so the hospital does not provide it. The company does not provide it, the people who place them. So it's going to be per travel nurse. They do get a stipend, which some people told me their stipend. It's like, holy moly. It's like they get $1,500 a week
Wow.
for stipend for their place.
Just for housing, 15, that, I mean,
Per
yeah,
week. It's like, holy moly, that's why they can afford that. But
yes.
of course, they want to keep most of that money. So I asked, it's like, hey, how much do you guys target? It depends on the person doing the traveling. So I've had people who are picking extended stay hotels. I've had people who are, want a pet, want a dog. But the biggest thing is the location. So if you have a B&B, their ideal would be 20 minutes away from hospital. That's why Phoenix is pretty good, because if you're in Phoenix, you will be in 20 minutes of the hospital.
100%, yeah.
There's so many hospitals there. And then the budget, if you're doing a single bedroom, like an apartment or anything, their target's on the lower side. It's like around $1,000 if you're doing like per single room. So if you have like multi rooms, just keep it as you guys talked about as all nursing. But then you'll have to market it as that as well, because it's going to be an active marketing, because there's not one way of going through one portal. Other things that they did mention is, of course, they want it to be furnished. That's why Airbnb is pretty good. They did mention Furnish Finder, Facebook groups for travel nursing placements. And then to determine your, let me just pull this out. Here we go. There's a website called travelnursehousing.com. That may be one other way that you guys may consider checking it out. But the most important thing is, as a takeaway, is like, if you're in the process of acquiring and this is going to be your target, make sure you check where their locations to target them, whether Airbnb is going to be good for this one. Number two, if you're going to market it actively, you do, because their contract lasts for 3 months. So every 3 months, someone is getting renewal, and it's not an exact 3 months. So because there's going to be changes in time where they're hired. So it's going to be something that you're going to be actively marketing, because people are actively searching all the time. And there's so many spots out there which is marketed.
Love it. Love it. Inside information from Dr. Paul. I'm going to give you
Very helpful, thanks.
A plus,
welcome.
A plus.
Thank you.
You
You're
crushed
welcome.
your homework, Dr. Paul. So yeah, let's open up to questions, but I felt those are some great nuggets there, guys. And you know, I've had traveling nurses, and let me tell you, they will pack 2 or 3 girls or guys in the unit, which is plenty. We got plenty of room in there, and they'll pay. We've gotten good money, and I hadn't targeted them. They just found us on Airbnb, but this is a whole nother level of doing things. So thanks for that info. Let's open it up to questions. Anyone want to start?
I'd love to ask a question.
Okay.
What about travel doctors? Have you heard anything about that?
Travel doctors are mostly locums, because I've done some traveling myself. And it's not a lot. It's not like nurses, which are actually big. And then when I did my traveling, some provide housing, but then there's going to be so many options. But I don't think it's a big market per se.
Interesting.
First responders is like, are we still having a lot of, besides nurses, who would are we getting other folks coming to the state in the medical profession besides nurses and, you know, other folks helping out? Or
the biggest thing is, like, people think about as nursing as one type of nurse. There's so many different types. That's why there's such a shortage. There's going to be a dialysis nurse, an OR tech, an OR scrub, an OR nurse. So there's so much, an ICU, an emergency room nurse. That's why there's always work out there, because there's so many places to fill on everyone. And personally, I don't know any about other people that much about traveling, because they're the biggest people who form the bulk of the shortage.
Gotcha.
You know,
gotcha.
Dr. Paul, I have to say, so I was on travelnursehousing.com yesterday, and I just plugged in Mesa, and it's amazing what pulls out. It's a completely detailed report about how many houses are available on the market, how many rooms are available on the market, and what they're willing to pay out of their stipend. Because $1,500 sounds a lot on a weekly basis, but these girls are very smart. They want to save that money, so they're not going to spend that on the stipend. They're looking for the cheaper housing. So sometimes they'll even say they're not going to pay more than half of their stipend. So they set their ball at maybe $600 a week at the most, which is still a lot. And they have a listing from 1 to 50 on their specialties. So which specialties are most needed in that area, which is a transition from Flip's question right now on. It's amazing how they have, you know, top 10 nurses that are needed in Arizona. And I looked up Chandler, Gilbert, Phoenix, and they're all the same throughout the board. It's the same top 10 specialties that are needed, unfortunately. And Mesa seems to be the number one. Over Phoenix even, and all the hospitals are located on baseline and the 60 in Mesa. So as long as you stay somewhere along the 60 within a 2-mile range, you're good. So I highly recommend going on that travel housing for nurses.com. It's an amazing
I'm going to
website.
check it out. Yeah, I'm always learning too, because I just thought you know, we get maybe two nurses are traveling together, but what you're saying and what I'm understanding, if I'm understanding it correctly, Dr. Paul, is per room. We could have a 4-bedroom house and these nurses may not even have to know each other, but we're just renting out, hey, we'll do this one room for X amount a week per month.
The only thing I was still trying to understand, because some of them, when they say it's like when they break down the house, they prefer the per room has their own bathroom,
Okay.
because they said it's like it's going to be totally weird if we it's like knocking, it's like, are you done, on some stranger that they don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, so I mean, there's pluses and minuses, I'm sure, and we just have to, I would say to everyone, like, definitely get on multiple ways of marketing your property, like in the traveling, the medical, the nursing. That's a giant niche that we could do very well with. And Phoenix, I have properties all over Phoenix, and like there's hospitals. I mean, every few miles it seems like there's hospitals down in central Phoenix. Like it seems like a big tons of hospital companies working down there. And so yeah, it'll be exciting because I'm going to start targeting a little more on the nursing side myself.
And I think on that aspect, this is not something that will go away. So the earlier we actually get into it as a target and take part of it, the more people, know, oh, this is Flip's house, then, in any FB group that they start recommending, then you may actually form a trend that you may be recognized. Then that's how you stay and get your chunk in the market.
Stay relevant. That's a good point. Yeah. And it's for me, I feel like it's a very wide open niche that we could really capitalize on right now with the shortage, because like Dr. Paul said, we don't know how long that's going to continue. We know the housing market's changing, but where is the supply demand? And it's, we're seeing plenty of demand from the short-term medical profession, the nursing and so forth. So I think it's a great way to get more bookings and more revenue.
Yeah.
Dr. Paul, what kind of a doctor are you?
I'm a surgeon.
Do you have a specialty here?
General surgery. I do robotics here in Valleywise.
Fantastic. I have a good friend of mine. He's a PhD student over at ASU now. He's in his final year, and he's in the he's a biomed in well, he does more infectious diseases now. He got into that, but
okay.
But
I do.
Your field is always changing, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, a lot of technology coming up.
Very cool. And is your goal are you doing real estate already, or is your goal to do, like, I know you're in PACES group and sub-2s and all that. Are you doing rentals, or what are you up to?
So right now, our renter actually extended her lease 1 month because she just bought the house and she says, like, I'm in the process of moving out.
Okay.
And so now our date to convert our rental property is going to be in November to an Airbnb, which is going to be our first.
Nice.
But at the same time, we're actively looking for additional properties, and that's where I'm targeting my demographics for the property and zip codes, both for tourist attractions and travel nurses, so that in downtime or uptime here, because Phoenix is pretty seasonal, that you always have that backup to have, like, some people as a business that you mentioned, that you always have some form of booking.
That's great. That's exciting. Yeah. So little delay, but it'll be good timing once you get that first one launched. Is that, you said, in Phoenix?
Glendale.
Glendale area.
Yeah, North Glendale.
Excellent. This year, though.
Yep, that's the goal.
That's awesome. Any other questions? Well, we're here with Dr. Paul on the medical stuff, guys. I guess not. let's see, anything else you guys want to chat on? We got like 10 minutes left, so anything on your mind we could speak into?
I got a
I have a
question.
question.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, doctor.
Oh, since this is going to be our first Airbnb, do you have security? Or what type of security do you have? Because, it's like if you identify an Airbnb, you look, it's like, oh, that's the house. It's like, it's like, and if it's bookable, that there's no one there. And I've been to some places, they have the ring and stuff, but how much security do you put in?
That's a great question because people they know you're going to have security, and so they could feel violated if you do have security in the backyard. Like, obviously you can't put cameras inside the house because that's a privacy issue, but some people do get offended when you have them in the backyard. So I've been just putting mine in the front, the door, and just making sure, they're all set up. There's Ring, there's some other ones at Lowe's too. So you definitely need the cameras for sure. Some people have these sound where it emits like how much noise is coming. I have that. Most people are pretty good. Again, Airbnb gets a bad rap for parties, but most people are there to take care of it, but just always do a camera at least in the front from what I do.
Do you have an alarm system in the house or no, just cameras?
I don't. I have these, I don't like guests using keys. So I have the PIN code.
The digital ones?
Yeah, we automate those. So we change those after each stay and then send out the new code for the new folks. Now I could tell you though, with internet service, backup is important because you don't want to get a call when they're checking in, maybe at 10, late night check-in, and the internet went out. Now they can't get in the home. Okay, so solution, we got a lockbox around the corner. Here's the key box, the contractor box. So we always keep spare keys on site so someone doesn't have to get locked out.
Okay, cool. That's really helpful.
Awesome.
Well, the other thing is too, whenever I've gotten an Airbnb myself, you don't get the full address until the day of check-in. So, if you're saying, well, they know that it's available at the same time that you're trying to book it, they might know that somebody that's trying to be devious, they might know that, but they wouldn't know where the exact location of the property is.
Right. Yeah, there are some people that, like anything, they try to scam you and, figure out a way to get in. But it's pretty, as long as you do the right steps, there's no way they could get into your property without actually paying and going through the app and making sure it's a secure vetting process.
So my question to you, Flip, is so when I went to go try and use AirDNA, it refused to let me put in the zip code I wanted to because it was offering different zip codes for free, but the zip code it wanted to charge me. So when you're actually a host, is that service free or do you pay for the service?
Good question. Yeah, that's a separate service. So you have to pay a monthly subscription fee to get in. And then, Sergio, are you on there right now? Are you use AirDNA?
I do use it, but I haven't subscribed yet.
Okay, so there's some free stuff, but to really laser in, I believe you have to pay for the zip codes, Anthony.
Right. So it knows I should have put in a closer zip code, and then it'll say you can't have that zip code, but you can have the other one. But that would be the one that I was looking for anyways.
Gotcha. So sometimes you just got to pay because again, it'll save you headaches.
Yeah.
I like it as a comping tool. Like a lot of the students, we do a lot of analytics before we even go see the first property, and we want to see what's in the neighborhood, how much per night they're getting, what the occupancy rate is, and AirDNA breaks all that down for you.
I actually just got some data from AirDNA. I took 85310 and 85014. And then what I did was, because it's going to be a monthly subscription, if you are in a very particular market, the thing is, like, you can avoid paying the state one, which is going to be $299 for Arizona monthly. But if you're going to be doing the state one, then I would say in that whole month, just extrapolate all the data that you can. You take it as a PDF. That's what I did this morning. And then basically, I'm going to cancel those subscriptions at the end of the month so I don't get charged, because I just need to establish whether this is a good market or not.
Yeah, that's a great pointer. Great way to do it. And it really helps out when you're comping and doing your numbers. It's a baseline, right? So just use it as a baseline. It's not like, it's a good baseline though. And I think that's a good strategy. You could just, that's why we talk about targets all the time, guys. So you want to know prior to going, and again, we could adapt and shift targets, but we want to be as defined as possible, as focused, as lasered in on what our target is. So that includes zip codes, that includes you get a couple of towns, cities close to you. The more specific, the quicker you're going to get there. Thaddeus, I know you had a question, right?
No, I'm good right now, bud.
Okay. You might have forgot it, because I know Dr. Paul said something and you were like, did we answer it?
No, yeah, it was answered.
Sweet. Awesome. So let's just go around before we end. And Elena, can you start us out? When is your anticipated target date for your first Airbnb? I'm going to write this down too, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Oh, just so I forget a lot of things. I got to write them down. All right, Elena.
Honestly, I'd love it by the end of the month.
Okay. So by 10/31/2022, Halloween.
Wrong.
Yes. And hold me to it. A second one
Oh, stepping up. Second one already. Okay.
by Christmas 2022.
Nice. Okay, the Halloween, Elena. Halloween, the festive fourth quarter. All right.
Yep,
That'll
two in Mesa coming right up.
You got the
I
Mesa.
just don't know which. Mesa or Gilbert, one of those.
Up to 425, right? Okay. That is
Gilbert up to 450. I'm being realistic.
okay. That is, you're up.
I want to get my first one before the end of the year. But I mean, we still need to get together. I don't know a target price. I'm guessing I wanted to keep it on the west side, somewhere close to the stadium. So somewhere close to Westgate or maybe Litchfield. So I'm thinking somewhere in the threes, mid threes.
Okay. Are you going to be buying or are you going to do arbitrage?
First I want to do arbitrage.
Okay.
And then
Sweet.
after that, I might buy one.
So you're going to celebrate your new one on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
31, that's the goal. On or before, we should say.
Yes, on or before.
Awesome. And that's in the west side. I like that because, again, getting your first few near where you're staying, that's and there's a lot of activity out there too. So that's awesome. How about you, Anthony?
I'm just gonna go ahead and just say February 1st, and my market is Havasu.
Okay.
I want a house in Havasu, and I'm gonna buy. And I'm in slow motion because I have a lot of expenses coming up with the holidays and stuff like that. And the crazy thing is, I have the money. I'm just waiting to pull the trigger. So,
That's
when
cool.
I find that place.
Again, timing plays a big part of this, bro. You don't want to get into something and you're stressed out of your mind. So like you want to get in but again, doing the little things like you're doing now, like I think that's invaluable and starting to make some, moves on focus where you want to go. I think, Yeah, you'll get it by February 1st. That's a good goal. Sweet. Dr. Paul? Let's see, I think you're muted.
We're gonna be done with hopefully by the first house in November, but I still haven't found my next house for this year. And my target is to hopefully find it before December and then convert it to an Airbnb at that time as well.
Okay, so the first house, are you gonna have to do any reno or, well, for sure decor?
Just furnish. It's actually we did the reno like in 2020, so a lot of it is all updated and stuff. So
And what is the house? Is it a 3-2-4-3?
it's
or?
4 2.5, and the
Okay.
funny thing is there's only one person living in the house
Oh, dang.
with a dog, so I don't know why she opted to rent our house.
She has a lot of room for her dog and her.
Yes, exactly.
But how long
Maybe
has that?
he's
how long-
arbitraging it.
Oh, no, I think she's there. How long has that been a rental with her?
Just a year. She sold her house and then basically was trying to figure out the market. And now she's in the point of she just bought another house. So this was her temporary stay. So it took her a
Okay.
year.
Okay. What year is this property?
This was late 90s.
Late 90s. Okay. So it doesn't sound like there's an HOA in there.
No HOA.
That's awesome. How many square feet?
The house is 2,400, and I think the lot, I can't remember. It's a pretty big lot.
Anything going on in the backyard? Like, is it?
It's all a good amount is going to be pavered, so I'm going to put some nice outdoor furniture because it has views of two mountains of somewhere in Glendale, which I don't know, which are both in the south and the north side. And then there's even big space enough because there's an RV parking, and then there's a shed on the side.
Awesome. And are you getting like 1,800 a month on this, or what are you getting for rent?
I'm currently getting 2,400.
Yeah,
per
rents
month.
are that high nowadays. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's. I mean, yeah, 1,800 was probably like a year and a half. Rents just went.
yeah.
So, 24, and you're moving into peak season. What are you shooting for, like the first few months of that Airbnb?
That one I'm still trying to do. That's why I'm like looking at all the data, and then I talked to Tom before, Tom Swan, and he says like do your own research, not just rely on AirDNA as well. So that process I'm still trying to figure out. My goal is, because it's not just going to be, it's going to be mortgage plus all your other expenses. So I'll have to take that into consideration plus the ROI on furnishing the house.
Correct.
So I still have to do that numbers flip.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds like a winner though, Paul. And then this second one, are you going to arbitrage, or are you going to buy the second property this year?
Buy, because I need the tax deduction.
What price point?
If I'm looking in Phoenix, it's going to be 350 or below.
Okay.
But I'm also establishing whether looking in Glendale and now maybe considering Mesa as well.
Nice. Are you working with a variety of realtors, wholesalers? How are you sourcing your property? I know you got a full-time job and you're busy.
No, I've been working with a couple of realtors, wholesalers, realtor that works with seller finance, people in sub 2. So it's like a good amount of leads as well. It's just finding the right house, because I don't want to go in a deal and then waste, not call waste of money, but I'd rather get the best bang for your buck.
We talk about that with the one-on-one students, Dr. Paul. we could go out tomorrow and get an Airbnb, but we want to maximize your efficiency. So we want to make sure it's the best. So we'll pick out 4 and then we'll break it down to 2 and then we'll go with the best out of the 4, because again, we could find them all day. We could probably go find one today, but is it going to be your best long-term investment? And that's important too, especially when you're first starting, because you want to really make sure that the money comes in and on to the next. But again, that's the best way you could test them is let's shoot for the best and, you know, not be too rushed at it. Let's just, you know, find the best deal. So you got time. So that'll be cool to see how that transitions. So thank you for sharing that. Sergio, finish this up, brother. What do you got going? What's your goals?
So I've got like 4 or 5, like you said, that's kind of what we were talking about before, is 4 to 5 to choose from right now. We're gonna have the first one within a couple weeks by the 14th, and then I do want to have my second one by the end of November.
Okay.
And again, my goal was 3 to 5 by the end of the year. It's looking like it's more going to be like 3 by the end of the year. So I'm going to try to pull one off October, November, and December. So hold me to that, and we'll make it work.
My God, he wants to create a competition with everyone. I heard. He wants to see who gets the most properties. So next year we may have to set up a competition amongst everyone here. That's awesome, Sergio. So
Competition's good. It
for
keeps
sure,
everyone pumped up.
yeah, definitely.
I agree. I got to fly, but I hope you guys have a great day.
Yep, awesome, guys. Any final questions? I know we went over a little bit. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, I just sneezed.
Oh, you sneezed. Okay. I didn't know if it was coming from space or I was trying to, that's such a cool background. Love it. Anyone else? Sweet. If not, mark your calendars, guys. We're going to have that meetup Thursday, October 13th in Mesa, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Love everyone to attend. And there's going to be a co-host with me. So we'll be bringing their network, our network, and good networking that night if you guys can make it. But we'll see everyone next week. And then Thaddeus, if you want to do that one-on-one, be happy to set something up.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. And Elena, have a good week. Good day.
All right.
All right, guys.
See
All
you.
right. Thank you.
There they go. One by one.
One by one.